All right, I want to talk here for a minute about the death of Han Solo. The reason I'm talking about this is because I've heard some on the internet complaining about the death of Han Solo, saying it should never have happened, and I just disagree. I think the death of Han Solo was powerfully done. It was tragic, yes, but it was meaningful. And look, for those of us who have followed the Star Wars storyline from the very beginning, at the end of Return of the Jedi, we were thrilled to see the relationship between Han Solo and Princess Leia, that budding romance sort of kind of come together, and everyone wanted nothing less than for the both of them to have a happily ever after, to have a beautiful life together, to have children, to grow old and die old and happy and fat, in living in the victories that they had fought so hard for. But the reality is, we see 30 years later, they don't get to have their happily ever after. And look, in lieu of having that happily ever after, the next best thing that you can ask for here is that the death of Han Solo would have meaning and purpose in it. So I think that it does in this film, and here are the reasons why. One is because the death of Han Solo is not done in isolation or in secret. The death of Han Solo has an audience, and the people, the characters who are present for the death of Han Solo are then motivated by what they see to behave in a certain way, which we see in the rest of the film as it plays out, and which we will see in the storyline to come, that these characters are going to be motivated by what they saw in his death and how he died. So there's a literary device there to it. There's purpose to it. Secondly, just on a rational level, listen, everybody dies. So the profound question here for every human being is my life and my death going to have meaning in it? Unfortunately, not everybody gets to answer that in the affirmative, and here Han Solo does. There's not a regret here, because Han Solo's death does have meaning. You know, did you think that Han Solo was just going to be impervious to every situation and go on and on and on in his life, continuing to smuggle and swindle his way through, his golden years? I mean, here is a dad reaching out to his son. You got to think about this as if you were a parent. And what parent would not take the opportunity, especially when the possibility is they may never have another opportunity to speak into the life of their child? And so here Han sees the opportunity. Yes, it's inconvenient when it arises, but the opportunity arises, and he, as a dad, is going to latch on to it. And I think that has emotional logic to it that resonated with me as a dad. So he sees his son who is on a dark path, and here's an opportunity for him as a dad to speak into his life and give him some fatherly wisdom. And who better to speak about this than Han Solo? Arguably the most successful smuggler and swindler in the galaxy, telling his son, listen, you are being played. You know this to be true. Now, of course, we as the audience saw this, we emotionally felt it coming when we saw the scene begin to play out. And everything, in you wants to be able to yell into the movie screen, don't do it. But At the same time, when you think about it as a parent, you know he has to. He has to speak to his son. And again, because his death has an audience, it has meaning there. It has meaning because he is a dad who loves his son. And it has meaning because even when his own son takes his life, while it's happening, Han reaches out with his hand because at this point he's incapable of speaking, and he puts his hand on the face of his son one last time, as if to say, I still love you and I forgive you, which is incredibly profound gift that he gives to his son, not knowing whether his son will ever be able to receive it. So emotionally, this made sense to me. Rationally, it makes sense because, like I said, everyone at some point has to die. Han Solo's death has meaning here, both as a part of the resistance movement, as a literary device, and as a parent. It makes sense on all of those levels. And I think on another level too, I mean, just if you can step back from the whole storyline here, here you have Harrison Ford, his character being taken out on Star Killer Base. So you have a star of the movie being killed on Star Killer Base. So I think the death of Han Solo does make sense for those reasons. Maybe you disagree. No one is happy about it. Of course, everyone is upset with his son, which is a whole other topic. Whatever other motivations behind the scenes about the actor and the producer and why this was worked out this way, I think are all secondary to the points that I'm making here. And so that's my opinion.